Let's be real. We've all been there. Staring at some big goal, something you really want to change, and thinking, how long is this actually going to take? Well, today, we are cutting through all the noise, all the myths, to find out what it really takes to make a lasting change in your life. It always starts with a moment just like this, right? That quiet, personal feeling that you want something more, something different. But going from that whisper to, actually doing something, that's the tricky part. And for decades, we've been sold this simple, almost magical answer. The 21-day promise. You've heard it a million times. This idea that you can completely rewire your brain, your habits, your whole life in just 3 short weeks. But where on earth did that number even come from?
So get this. It all goes back to the 1950s and a plastic surgeon named Dr. Maxwell Maltz. He noticed something kind of fascinating. After surgery, it took his patients right around 21 days to get used to their new face. So in his best-selling book, he wrote that it takes a minimum of 21 days to form a new habit. But here's the thing. The world heard 21 days and just ran with it. They completely dropped that super important, crucial little word, minimum.
And you can see why it caught on, right? It's because it felt so hopeful. 3 weeks is the perfect sweet spot. It's long enough to feel like a real accomplishment, but short enough that it doesn't feel overwhelming. It was this simple, comforting promise. Just hang in there for 21 days, and boom, you're a new person.
All right, so time for a little myth busting. Because as you've probably guessed, that nice, neat, reassuring promise, well, it's not the whole story. So let's see what modern science has to say about it. So here's the reality check. A major study from University College London basically blew this whole idea out of the water. They found that, on average, it takes 66 days for a new habit to really stick and feel automatic. 66! That is more than 3 times longer than the old myth. It just goes to show how much we've been underestimating the process.
But here's what's even more important. That 66 days is just an average. The same study found that the actual time can be all over the map. For some people and some habits, it was as quick as 18 days, but for others, it took a whopping 254 days. That's almost 9 months. The truth is, there is no magic number. Your journey is going to be completely your own.
So listen, if you have ever tried a 21-day challenge and felt like a complete failure when you messed up on day 22, this is for you. You're not weak, you're not lazy, you're human. You weren't failing, you were just working with the wrong map. Struggling is a totally normal part of this.
Your brain on change. So, to really get why it's so challenging, we got to pop the hood and take a look at what's actually going on inside our heads when we try to change. I love this analogy. Think of a habit in your brain like a path in a field of tall grass. The very first time you walk it, it's hard work, right? But every single time you walk that same path again, it gets a little clearer, a little wider, a little easier to follow. In your brain, we call these neural pathways. Your old habits, they're like paved superhighways. The new ones you're trying to build, you're starting out in the weeds with a machete. And carving out that new path follows a really simple but incredibly powerful loop. It's the 3 R's: reminder, routine, and reward. Just think about picking up your phone. The reminder is maybe a notification or just feeling bored. The routine is you start scrolling. The reward, that little hit of dopamine that makes your brain say, ooh, let's do that again. To build a new habit, you have to consciously build a whole new loop and just keep running it over and over until it becomes the new default. Okay, so we know the science, but just knowing how it works doesn't make it feel any easier, does it? Real change means we have to step into that uncomfortable, unknown territory. And that brings us to the famous comfort zone.
We all have one. It's that mental space where everything feels safe, predictable, and, well, comfortable. It's cozy in there for sure, but there's a huge catch. Inside the comfort zone, nothing ever grows. Growth and comfort, they just can't exist in the same place at the same time.
So when you finally step out of that zone and you feel that anxiety, or you feel tired, or you just feel totally overwhelmed, that's not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you're growing. It's the feeling of your brain literally rewiring itself. If you can adopt this mindset, I'm not broken, I'm growing, it can change absolutely everything.
And listen, stepping out of your comfort zone doesn't mean you have to take some huge, terrifying leap. It's all about small, doable steps. You want to get fit? Don't sign up for a marathon tomorrow. Just start with a 10-minute walk. The secret isn't to blow up your comfort zone, it's just to gently expand the edges, a little bit at a time.
The rhythm of growth. Okay, so if we ditch this whole quick fix idea, what does the real journey of change actually look and feel like? This is really the new way to think about it. Real change isn't a frantic 21-day countdown to some finish line. It's more like a quiet rhythm that you practice day in and day out. It's this slow process of becoming, where the new you just sort of quietly emerges, until one day it's just who you are.
So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Forget the giant overnight transformation. Real, lasting change is just the sum of 1,000 tiny choices. It's choosing the walk over the couch. It's reading one page instead of 0. It is every single time you show up for yourself, especially on the days you really don't want to.
So you see, the real question isn't how long does it take? It's am I willing to start? And that starts with just one small step. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What's yours going to be today?